understand what you do, like Kiddush, and so obviously, when we're keeping Shabbos, we want to experience what Shabbos gives us, but all the things that we don't do create the environment. They create this space, So again, so it's like important to sort of internalize what a classic Shabbos looks like, and then slowly learn the rules. But you just okay, that's the model. That's basically more or less what it looks like. I hear these stories about people who are starting to get religious, and they're living in a household where no one's keeping Shabbos, and they're sort of like staying in their room, not doing anything, and I don't know how long. You've got to be a very strong person to be able to withstand that. That's very unnatural. The normal way you do it is find somebody who's keep Shabbos with you, and find people to. Then it's like this is what we're doing. It's not meant to be like fighting all the time.
It's what happens with some converts. I know Chabad converts that come, and all this. The first thing they say to their mother is, "I can't eat your food." It's the worst thing for a mother. A mother, part of her love for her child is the food she gives. But I think that mother's love is the food. Not entirely, but part of the mother's love. When the kid says, "I can't eat your food," it's like saying, I don't know.
On the same point, there's also halakha you shouldn't embarrass.
Of course.
And also, you're not calling in 1 minute. There's a progress. So slowly you can say, "Mom, please don't make this big meat for me." And then you say, "Oh, Mom." And she will understand slowly.
Or sit at the table and bring your own food. I don't know. This is what causes parents to think that kids are brainwashed.
Yeah. Well, you can understand. People all get excited. People found something. They're looking at something. They found something. They get excited and they come to their parents, and it's like from their excitement they start saying all these things, and they're not necessarily taking into account, like you're saying, the parents' feelings, and. All right, let's see this story.
Maybe the story of maybe not, but he's going to help us understand some of this.
Maybe not. We'll see. Okay. So let's give a recap of the story up till now. Okay, this is a story of Nachman taught to his students, and he expected them to somehow understand what it means. We were talking about yesterday from the Torah. Reb Nachman talks about this act of us needing to wake up, us needing to remember what we're doing, what we're here for, and the challenge that goes along with this. Yeah, I'm reading the story in light of that. Basically, in short, the story is of a prince and the son of a maid in the same household who gets switched at birth. So it ends up being that the person who's the prince is not really the real prince, and eventually the word gets out, so that this guy who's the prince and then eventually the king decides to kick out the other person who people are saying is the real prince. And the guy goes out and gets real depressed and gets into drinking, into prostitution. He's really upset, and he's losing all motivation for life. And then eventually he has this dream that he has to go to the market and hire himself to somebody to work. That way he'll get to where he needs to go. He goes to the market. He works for a guy who has a bunch of animals, and the animals run into the forest. Okay, he's running after the animals into the forest. That's what we're basically up to in the story. He meets another man there who also his horse ran into the forest, and together they meet this third person with this frightening demon type of person who grew up in the forest, not really a person, and they're with him. And while they're with this being in the forest, so they hear this laughing. There's a great laughing in the middle of the night, right before it becomes morning. It fills the whole forest, shakes the whole forest, and they ask this guy, "What's the laughing about?" And he says, "It's when the night is almost over and the day is coming. So the night asks the day, why is it that when you come, I have no more name left?" And then the day laughs at the night. That's the big laughing that happens every morning. That's one thing that they have. And then another thing that they experience over there is this. They start listening to the animals which are screaming in the forest, and they realize it's a song. All the animals, all the nocturnal animals, are crying out, and together it's making this amazing song. In the beginning, they're just frightened from it, and now they're hearing it's a song. And they ask this guy again, what the song is, and he says the animals really are appreciative to the moon. It gives them light during the night, so they're making a song for the moon. And then the guy says, but I have something even better. I have something which I've inherited from my ancestors. It's just like this instrument of some song with leaves and beads or something. And whenever you put it on top of an animal starts singing. Okay, another thing which happened, which was really before this, is that this guy with the animals finds bread, and the other man with him is really hungry, and the guy only gives it to him. He becomes his slave. Okay, so then he buys him as a slave in the forest. Now,
the forest man, or the
no, not the forest. No, there's two men. No, not the person who lives in the forest. The two people. One guy was running after the animals. One guy was the horse. So the guy who was running after the animals was the person who was the real prince, and now he's buying the other guy. And it turns out that the other guy is really the other baby, right? Right? So they're both together in the forest, and sort of in the forest is turning it around, and he's being on top of the other guy. And after they experience all this, so the forest person says, "Okay, now I'll take you back to civilization." Okay, so. And he says, "Here, I'm going to give you as a gift this instrument that I got from my ancestors. You can use that. That'll help you do what you need to do." And they ask him, "Where should we go?" He's letting us out of the forest. Where should we go now? So he says, "There's a country that's called," here he says in Yiddish, "the Snarische Land and Kluger Malchus," which means the foolish country and the wise king. Go to that place. That's what people call it. Foolish country and the wise king. And he says, "Okay, go that direction." He points in that way, and he tells the guy who was the prince, who was really the prince, says, "Go to that country and you'll find your greatness." So they both go together, and they're looking for an animal. Test out this utensil. They look around, you finally find an animal, you put it on the animal, and you see it really works. The animal starts singing. Okay, they go to starting to come close to this country. They walk around and around until they finally find a gate. They come to the gate, and they don't let anybody in. So he asks the watcher, why aren't you letting anybody in? He says the reason is because the king died, and the king left his son, but the king wrote a will that said that they used to call this country the foolish country with the wise king. But after I die, it's going to be the opposite. It's going to be the wise country with the foolish king. She's talking about his son, because his son wasn't as wise as him. And he said, whoever can to gird his loins, meaning someone can gird his loins and take it on himself to fix this and bring the country back to be the wise king and the foolish country, then he'll be the king. And I'm not letting anybody in, only somebody who's willing to try this out and take the challenge. And the first they're saying, why should I do this? Who said I can do this? This is too much of a challenge. They're almost thinking of going home. And then the guy remembers the guy from the far said, you go to this country, you'll come to your greatness. He says, okay, so you have to try it. And all of a sudden they see it. It's a crazy story, right? So they see a man comes with a horse.
That was the arm.
Yeah, it's natural. Okay, a man comes with a horse, and he shows the guy puts this instrument on the horse, and the horse starts singing. And the guy says, "Oh, that's cool." And he says, "Can I buy this off you?" So the guy says, "No, of course not." He says, "Listen, I have something I'm going to give you, which is much more valuable than what you have. What are you going to do with this already? You'll go on the street corner, you'll entertain people. You're singing animals. Not much. I can teach you something which will be very, very useful for you." And what's that thing? It's called lahavin davar mitoch davar, to understand one thing from the other. Meaning, I have a tradition from my ancestors about how to understand one thing from the other. You see one thing, you think about it, and you understand.
It doesn't mean you understand something within.
Oh, meaning I understand this, so from that I can understand something else. Meaning it's sort of, I don't know what word you use to extrapolation, maybe, associative wisdom, something about applying wisdom in a deep way.
Wouldn't be coloring wisdom. I mean, what the talk?
Lavin davar mitoch davar, from within. Which is a terminology which Chazal use to define the word bina. Bina means to havin davar mitoch davar. As you give me the instrument, I'll teach you how to do this, and this will bring you success. So he says, he thought about it for a little bit, and he said, okay, that's a good deal. And he taught him this wisdom. And after he taught him this wisdom, the man, he's thinking a little bit, and he said, okay, now I really understand that I can do it. As a result of this wisdom, he understood that I do have a chance to stand this challenge in this kingdom, and I can do it. Even though he didn't know how yet, but he said, I can understand I can do it. So he goes to the gate. He said, listen, I'm ready to do it. So they bring him in and bring him into the ministers. And he said, first of all, I want to explain something, that we're not stupid people. The only reason why it's called a foolish kingdom and a wise king is that in relation to him, we were all foolish. We were a very wise kingdom, but just this king was unbelievably wise. And that's why when he died, it was called the wise kingdom, because we're really wise. And we have a special way to test out, to see if somebody's fitting to take the place at the head of this country. So So we'll tell you what the first test is. First test is that there's a garden. We have an amazing garden here. And this garden doesn't grow leaves. It grows like precious metals. Gold and silver grows in this garden. And however, the problem is that whenever anybody goes into this garden, they start getting really frightened and running away. There's this. Whenever people go in, they feel like someone's chasing them, and they don't even know who's chasing them, and just they just like fall all over themselves, and they can't stay there. And he says, if you can go into this garden and not run away, so we know you're wise. So he asks, when people go into this garden, did anything happen to them? Did someone hit them? Or there's nothing happened. They just run away. So he starts looking at the garden and walks around, sees there's a gate around it. There's no garden in the garden because no reason to guard it. And he looks around and he sees that there's statues of kings. Like the old-fashioned medieval things. Every king has a statue, and under each statue it says what happened in this king's life. And most of the kings said that he fought wars with this country, he fought wars with that country. And there's one king that underneath his statue it says, during his time there was peace. That's what it says. And before and after there were wars. And now it says, Nachman said, since he became somebody who understands one thing from the other, so he understood that the key to the whole garden is this king. This king is really is the answer. So he said that first of all he understood that if he looks at this king, he won't be afraid. And he thought about it more. He even said if you put this king at the entrance to the garden, everybody will be able to come in. That's gonna be the answer. So that's what he told him to do. He says, please move the statue from where it was to the entrance to the garden, and everyone could walk in, and no one will feel chased. So they were very impressed, and they said, okay, that was pretty good. Now there's another test, which we will do. Okay, this one's sort of a very long description. I'll just shorten it. There's the throne of the king. It's a very, very elaborate throne. It has these the lions and all these animals made out of metal, and it has all these paths that go out of it, and it doesn't work. Whenever someone tries to go next to it, these animals, like these mechanical animals, attack. There's something not wrong with it. And basically, I'm going to make this short. He looks around, he looks at it, and he sees that there's a little rose, which is on the floor. And he says, "Oh, that rose is out of place. It needs to be put on top of the throne, and then everything will be in the proper place." And what happened was, as soon as he put everything in its place, the whole throne started singing again. So it's sort of implying the same song that was going on the whole time. But also, as soon as the proper order, it began singing, and they gave him the kingdom. And then the last line of the story is, now the true prince who now became the king, said to the son of the maid, he says, "Now I understand that I am truly the son of the king, and you are truly the son of the maid." That's the end of the story. Now, in this story, actually, Reb Nachman, who wrote the story down, writes down several hints which Reb Nachman gave about how to open up the riddle of the story. And one of the things he says is that first of all, he says before the Zohar, this is the way people used to teach Kabbalah. This is the old-fashioned way of Kabbalah. The Zohar is too explicit, so to speak. This is the old-fashioned way is to say these stories. And actually he brings a pasuk in Tanakh about the cow singing, and he says, that was their Kabbalah, their esoteric Torah. And another thing he says is that this king, in the end of the story, is Shabbos. That king in whose days there was peace, that's Shabbos. That's another thing that she gives to a hint about what the story is about. Okay, so let's try to look at this a little bit. What could it mean?
And was the only two hints that
He goes a little bit more also. Okay, we'll just leave it at that. I mean, he also says about the end of the story with the throne. He says that's really what all wisdom's about knowing to put things in order, putting things in the right order. But he's not really explaining what he means. Okay, so what we were talking about yesterday, as far as the interpretation of the story, was about the importance of going into the forest. Right? How this person, the hero of the story, only comes to his greatness through going to the forest and meeting with very wild energies, this demon person and just crazy stuff about hearing the day laughing at the night, all the things like that. Which we don't know exactly what it means, but it seems to be describing the depths of a person, the uncivilized part of the personality. And sort of coming in contact with that is the beginning of coming back to your place. And also this thing of the animals singing. Right? Animals singing is a very powerful image because animals, we say, animals song, that's the problem. The problem is that we're animals. Don't be an animal. But when the story is saying it's not so simple. Yes, don't be an animal, but the animal part of yourself also is holy. And if you know how to deal with it in the proper way, it will sing a song. Right? Like the animals, we sing a song to the moon, right? The moon is a hidden thing. Like the sun is bright, the moon is just nighttime, mysterious. And if the animals sing to the moon, that means like it's sort of like the artistic consciousness, let that thrive. There's something in you which is animal. And there's something good there. There's power there. And if you, like an end of the story, if you know how to put things in the right order, if you know how to do it, like put it in the right place, how much I let my animal out, how much I cultivate, how much I hold it back, then that creates a song for Hashem. That we're looking to sing. Another thing, another symbol we see over here is that the sun laughing at the day laughing at the night. What does that mean? What does it mean, the day laughing at the night? One of the things that goes on in the story is that this man suffers. Okay, this man goes through suffering, and everyone knows that suffering can be growthful. But the thing is, we don't want to stay in the suffering. Eventually, we want to come out, to have salvation. And if I'm too stuck, if I'm too used to serving Hashem is suffering, and I'm not able to come out when time is to come out. Now that sort of the thing is, yes, you have to go through things. You have to go through your trek. But when the day comes, so the day laughs at the night. Meaning part of it's like this thing that Reb Nachman talks about the importance of being besimcha. The important, what does it mean to mitzvah be besimcha? Obviously, we all have things which we're upset about and we have difficulty, but as human beings, we have the ability of saying, okay, yes, I've suffered and I had problems, but I can just, go into joy for a moment. I mean, it's the ability of not being stuck in the sadness, not being stuck in the nighttime, not being stuck in the animal, right? It's like, it's something which we need to go through and it's something we need to process. But ultimately, the Yeshua, the person's salvation has to do with, okay, I can smile, I can laugh at all the things which I had difficulty, and I don't be so heavy, And often heaviness is the enemy. I'm just suggesting. I don't know if I'm getting the correct interpretation. I'm just thinking that could be that's what he's saying. And another related thing is one of the motifs in the story is about power, right? It's always a question: who controls who, right? Am I the king or am I the slave? And the story goes back and forth. In the beginning, he's the underdog, and then he's on top, And it seems like this going back and forth is very, very important for his development. And this is a very central theme when people are trying to become free. Because often, the reason why we're not free is because we're being controlled by somebody else, or by something else, some sort of person or idea, right? It's controlling us, and we're not free. Until we're able to have control over that, we're not really free. Okay, I mean, again, I don't think I can fully flesh this out, but I feel this is also an important issue. Like, we're trying to find our place. Part of that is learning how to get control. To, not let learn. I feel like I'm a slave. Let me turn tables around and say I'm not a slave. I'm in control. I'm in control of the things which I thought were controlling me. That's sort of the imagery of him owning the person who was the king.
My thought is that these stories are more allegorical, and they have to do with Hashem, and it's not about personal growth, especially. It's about how people sort of lose their contact with Hashem, and they struggle to get it back. It's more of a parable or more of an allegory.
100%. It's definitely a parable and allegory. I'm just trying to figure out what was the significance of the various adventures that he has. How does that? I agree with you. I think personal growth and connection to Hashem are in the same game. It's all connected. It's not like two separate processes.
But I guess it seems to me that it would be how we lose our connection to Hashem and then how we get it back.
Yeah.
It's more something like that than a psychological. I think
the psychological, that's the thing. I mean, what I see is that, and I think Reb Nachman also, that our connection to Hashem is very much dependent on our psychological state. It's like, we're learning in the Chumash, Hashem takes us out of Egypt and says, don't be slaves. Don't be slaves, you're free. I mean, that's like the basis for the ability for us to be in connection to Hashem is to be free. And being free means psychologically free. And I think that's part of the message of the story. Meaning, You want to connect to Hashem, but first you have to come to terms with you being a prince. Meaning, you have to really. That's the end of the story. Because now I know I'm really the son of the king.
Right.
Meaning,
The son of the king is obviously a Jew who somehow he gets confused. Confusion.
It's a confusion.
And then he makes his way back, and he becomes conscious that he's the son of Hashem.
Right.
And in the end, I think that's how the stories go.
I agree with you. But again, you see that there's this theme of power. That's what king is. A king is almost power. Am I powerful? Am I powerless? And part of my fall is I feel powerless. You know, and the return to the power, the return to being a prince, is through this whole path of suffering, path of joy, and path of wisdom. And the end is a big focus on wisdom, like knowing how to balance, right? Knowing how to balance the animals together with myself. You know, and again, the most important thing, which we didn't talk about, is this thing over we talked about about Shabbos, about this king, about this. You know, the regular state, the fallen state is everyone's running from something. And everyone's running away. This is a garden, which is probably the world, where everyone's running. Everyone's very, very frightened by something. They don't even know what. And he comes and understands that Shabbos is the antithesis. You know, it's similar to earlier in the story where he's running after the animals. Remember, that part he's running after the animals into the forest, and over here he's running away from something. It's similar type of thing, running after something, running away from something. A state of lack, a basic lack of settledness. And that's like the peak. Like, you know, finally he gets Shabbos, then he's able to get free.
After Shabbos, he comes back to Hashem.
Yeah.
It always from the minuscule bit I know about stories of people lose Hashem, and then they get back to Hashem.
100%.
At the end of the story.
100%. 100%. But I'm just saying that the psychological interpretation of the story goes together very, very, very closely with the religious meaning of it. It means because it's like, what if Reb Nachman's saying, what do I need to do in order to wake up? What do I need to do in order to be conscious? You know, Reb Nachman's saying is we're always forgetting, we're always falling, and what do? So he's saying several things. One of them is Shabbos. One of the things is Shabbos is not only literally Shabbos. Shabbos means the idea of Shabbos, which is a day of peace. Meaning, don't run. Don't run. You know, Hashem created the world. You'll find your place. Just focus on that. And, you know, it's like there's somebody said, life is like holding a bird, right, in your hand. You hold it too tight, you kill it. You hold it too loose, it runs away. Right? It's. I think there's something about that in the story. I mean, life is a mission of searching Hashem and searching to become better, and all at the same time, you're the consciousness of Shabbos. Right? You know, everything's okay. You know, it's okay. You know, you sing to Hashem. You relax. You know that things will be okay, and that's the key to coming back to yourself. It's sort of like.
We were talking, yesterday about so he suffered depression.
Yeah.
Depression. So I don't think he's talking about himself and what he was going through.
Okay.
And it's just another thought,
Yeah, no, I think everything a person teaches is coming from himself.
Right.
I'm just trying to figure out what the teaching is. What's what are we learning from it? And,
I don't know. It's just, if it's, let's say it's about him, it's about the Reb Nachman. So
okay.
let's just say that he had some kind of mental disease. That's a mental
The disease is wrong, but that's a difficulty. Okay.
mental difficulty, right? And so here's a person. There's a kind of element of depression in this person, right? And he's trying to struggle out of this depression.
Yeah.
And then there's a person who suffers great fear, and maybe Reb Nachman in his, when he was certain of his aspects of his mental problems, and he suffered great fear, great anxiety. He's talking about how he himself,
Okay, so again, I agree with you. I mean, Reb Nachman describing it, he knows what it feels like. He knows what it feels like to be depressed.
Right.
He knows what it feels like to be driven. To be fearful, and he's teaching that the path to Hashem is to deal with these things. Is to find a point of Shabbos that allows you to relax your fears. Okay, this story he has he understood that just looking at this statue of this king would allow him to not run when he enters the garden.
I mean,
again, it's like
the king is obviously Hashem.
Yeah,
if he looks at this king,
yeah, but instead of saying at the end of the story, he makes it more specifically Shabbos. It's,
or the king.
Yeah. So the king, Shabbos is God. Yeah.
Maybe it simplifies it too much.
Everyone can take the story, wherever they want it. That's what stories are about, But I don't know. What do you think? Do you think we just made things complicated, or we got something out of it?
But I think that we lost the sense of the purpose. Why was he telling this story? He wasn't just telling a story. He was telling it was a teacher.
100% a teacher.
The Kabbalah.
He's saying
Before the Zohar.
Exactly. That's what he's saying. This is a type of Kabbalah.
Right.
This is a new old type of Kabbalah, which is I'm going to tell you the story. I'm not going to tell you exactly what it means. But you're going to sense. This story is talking about you. It's talking about the divine in the world, and it's talking about people's travels towards Hashem, and that's it. Yeah. I mean, what's really Kabbalah about? What's the purpose of talking in esoteric terms? Right?
Finding inner meanings. There's I think, to find the nistar, right? Things appear to be a certain way on the surface, but Kabbalah says it's not like that. There's all kinds of things that are going on beneath the surface, right, that we can't.
Okay, that's what I would like to phrase it in another way a little bit. Meaning, as human beings, we have all types of feelings and experiences with our relationship to God, and it's very intricate, and it's a whole world, and and if we don't have a language for it, we sort of have a difficulty processing it. And a person wants to go into this very intricate and detailed relationship with Hashem, so he needs a language for it. And the Kabbalah is sort of giving a language for very, very subtle things about our relationship to Hashem. It's like there's this sphere, which is this element, there's that sphere, which is sort of the other side of that. And for people who are on a high level of dveikut, people who are their mind is with Hashem all the time, they need this. They need to have some sort of a language, internal language to talk about. Otherwise, it's so amorphous. Like, yes, there is a God, but what about all the detail about my relationship to Him? So, I think that's one way of describing what Kabbalah does. So Nachman's story also is saying, okay, I'm going to give you a different type of Kabbalah. I'm going to tell you a story, which I think you'll probably be able to find yourself in this story. You know, you can identify with this hero of, you know, knowing that he's a prince, but lost. You know, there's this hero who you know, has a dream that he has to go out to the market and he has to do something to get himself out of his problem. You know, that's the, you know, this hero who goes in frightful situations. You know, who's struggling with his tendency to run away and finding Shabbos, which is sort of like an anchor, a spiritual anchor. And like I'm saying, this can also be a type of Kabbalah. You can also use this as a metaphorical language for your relationship with Hashem.
He has the divine soul, it's, you know, keeps.
Yeah.
And he loses that. He just loses his ability. So he has to go through all the stuff he did. Because if he loses his sense of his peace, then the whole world becomes you know, terrifying. You see all kinds of wild animals and things laughing. Almost the insurance.
Right.
Say paranoia.
Paranoia. It's definitely paranoia in the story. I want to mention one thing is that there's an irony in this story. There's a sense of irony. Why? Because he really is the son of the king. He knows that. He knows that. So why isn't the end of the story saying, "Now I know I'm the son of the king"? Right? What does he say that for? He knew that.
You know and you know.
Exactly. So he's playing with this thing about knowing and knowing, right? Meaning, I know. I know inside I'm meant to do something special. Right? It's very nice that I know that. But until I actually succeed in doing it, then I really know. You know, it's sort of this. It's also playing this game about predetermination and choice. It's like I'm meant to be special, but until I actually actualize it, then it's sort of they're both true. I'm meant to be special, but I also have to do it. You know, and then I really know.
That's closer to what the story feels like to me. Something like that.